We asked 7 people, are you gay? They were like, me? Me? I'm gonna watch this video. Because I'm lonely. And I'm gonna talk about it because I don't give a fuck. Do you understand me? If you want to type in Twitch, or else you're stupid. So let's do it. What have I become? God damn it. Oh my
As
god.
I'm looking up, I just see these 3 lights in like a triangular formation. It just moves without, any sound or anything. Then it stops for 10 seconds or so, and then just raises up into the clouds and then just disappears.
Boom. Am I loud enough? Oh my god. Aliens. Fuck.
We're going against the wind. Hey, dude. There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. Look at that thing.
Look at that thing. It's fucking huge.
What is your opinion about aliens?
They're real.
We have an entire galaxy just of so many different planets and stars.
True. That's
Odds
true.
of us being alone in the universe are almost non-existent.
Do you think humans have made contact with aliens already?
I don't think the evidence shows that.
I've had my own experience.
When you tell this
They touched
experience
me.
to people, do they typically believe you?
Yeah, for the most part.
I have encountered
How many of you got
aliens,
touched?
Not like in person, like they're hanging out, like they're not dense like we are.
We're talking about
Girl,
minimum
what?
thousands, if not millions or billions of light years away. So the odds that they have visited us is pretty astronomical that they probably didn't and may not visit us for millions of years.
I think it's pretty exciting, unless you're one of those people that's getting
This
visited
guy,
at
check
3
out the
in morning
beanie.
alone
You
in
know
your
he's got
bedroom
some
and
shit
getting
to
walked out to
say.
some craft for
You know how
sexual
he has some
experimentation.
stuff to say, and he's gonna say it. Synth music. Yes. Yes.
My name's Greg Carlwood. I host a podcast.
Holy shit,
called
that's
Higher
my name
Subjects in
too.
the Conspiracy paranormal space. I've been doing it
Fuck.
for 10 years, so I've heard a lot of interesting stories.
I'm Luke Nias. I'm an IT specialist, and I've also had my own experience, which is kind of crazy, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Hi, I'm Lauren. I have a blog called starseedhotspot.com. I'm someone who would identify as a starseed and have had a lot
The
of
fuck?
different spiritual and paranormal experiences.
Okay.
Hi, my name's Lynette. I'm an actress and I'm spiritually aware of myself.
And my
and
hat
believe
fucking
that, you know,
rules.
aliens
That's
are real.
about it.
I'm Dominic Andre.
What's up with these heads?
I am actually a mental health therapist and a influencer, but I've been in love
An
with science since I was a kid,
influencer.
published by NASA.
I feel
and I've been
influenced
mentioned
already.
an amateur astronomer.
Spencer Marks, the author of the sci-fi book Living History, and also a senior investigator with the Center for Inquiry Investigations Group. We investigate claims of the paranormal.
And my wife just left
Alright.
me.
Can I get my folks who feel like they have made personal contact with aliens on the left, and then my people who have not on the right?
Define personal contact. They touched my butt.
First prompt is, I've seen a UFO.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Hello.
Actually,
Yeah, I've seen one. It was about 10 years ago, just right before I graduated high school, and as I'm looking up, I just see these 3 lights in like a triangular formation. There was no body to it, just the 3 lights, and they were like flickering, almost like on fire or something like that. I look at my buddy and I say, you seeing this? He sees
Bro,
it.
you see
Yeah,
that?
it just moves without, any sound or anything, just quiet for about a minute. Then it stops for 10 seconds or so, and then just raises up into the clouds and then just disappears. Well, this is 10 years ago, so it's like drones weren't really a big thing, I've never seen a plane that could hover, or at least hover and then not make a bunch of noise. So it's something I can't explain, honestly.
So for me, as someone who is a clairvoyant, I'll see like dimensional overlapping of things, especially going through what's called a Kundalini awakening. which was really intense, and I had a lot of different types of contact with like aliens through like astral projection as well. Like I've like left my body, seen my body like laying there, and went and visited other dimensions, been on spacecrafts and like seen different spacecrafts.
Girl,
things
what?
that, like, I can't explain, and they were dreams.
For me,
Lauren,
as an astronomer,
you're
I do
bugging.
see UFOs, but to clarify that, UFO stands for unidentified flying objects.
Oh,
So for
does
me,
it, Dominic?
Yes, I do see things that I don't know what they are. But my immediate conclusion isn't aliens or intelligent life. My immediate conclusion is, what can I scientifically understand? You know, we thought thunder was gods, and now we would easily explain it to not being gods. People will get confused. They assimilate, or they, make UFO and aliens, one. And I'm like, that's not the same thing.
Everyone knows
Bring
it's
in
not
our
the
disagreeers.
same thing.
It would be disingenuous to say I've ever seen one firsthand, but because of what I do, I've had plumbers come to the house. You're like, oh, what do you do? I host a conspiracy podcast. Well, let me tell you something. My uncle is a pilot, and he would never tell his superiors this, but he's seen this and this. And even the U.S. Navy has released footage of UFOs and said, yeah, these crafts are real, and we don't know what they are. Just a couple years ago, it was in the New York Times.
I certainly have seen, looked up and said, oh, I don't know what
Go
that
to the
is, but
Twitch stream,
I've
Ghost.
never once
You can
seen
type,
that to
look.
be an alien spacecraft. I
Look,
actually
and
am
your
also
stuff
a
will show
private
up like
pilot, so
that.
I
Like
know how
that.
to identify aircraft visually, the lighting pattern. Yeah, I'm also an amateur
Woo!
astronomer, and I've looked at it 1,000 times through a telescope.
Man, this is so
and see like that.
anecdotal,
Some
all
people
of
might
this,
think that
What the
object moves
fuck
so
are these people
fast.
fucking talking about? You know what? I've actually seen a UFO. Have you guys seen a UFO? I have seen a UFO. And as Dominic the Skeptic has let us know, in case anyone didn't, UFO stands for unidentified flying object. And based on what I've heard here, you're all fucking full of shit. This man's with the mustache right here. He said that he saw 3 lights hovering and going up. Okay. What does that prove, my mans? I saw a UFO. Let me describe the UFO that I saw to you. I was in Death Valley, Nevada, which first of all actually makes me skeptical of my own experience, because it's like, what are the chances I go to the place where everyone sees UFOs and then I happen to see one? I was only there for like 3 fucking days. What? I'm loud enough? Okay, I'll make the video louder too. Sorry. Yeah, I saw a fucking UFO. Wait, is this loud enough?
Bright, and was that a UFO? Well,
A
I know it's
UFO.
a satellite, so
yeah,
I'm
I know
not
it's a
worried about those
satellite.
things.
There's a lot of people who say, yeah, I've seen aliens, I've seen UFOs. It's interesting that the aliens have headlights.
Is that loud
Yeah.
enough?
You don't want to crash in the ground.
I think that we literally even need.
That's actually a great point, Dominic the Skeptic. Dominic the Skeptic says, what are the chances that all these UFOs also have headlights? Like, that's quite a strange coincidence, right? Because if aliens are here, if aliens are among us and flying over us, hovering over us, then what are the chances that they also happen to use headlights? And the way that we use them too, Because this kind of fucking thing. Woo! Hey, Ayatollah. Yeah, I didn't even post this on Twitter or whatever. I'm just trying out my Twitch stuff now. I want to see what people like, and I'm like, you know what? I have all this fun fucking Twitch stuff set up right now. I'm just gonna hop on and watch this video because I wanted to watch it anyway, and then I'll just respond in real time because I'm just fucking awesome like that. Like, holy shit. But that was a good point that this man's has raised. What are the chances that aliens have headlights? Because they're clearly using technology, assuming, of course, that aliens are flying around over our big old flat Earth, whatever the fuck. If aliens are flying around over on top of us, they clearly possess technology that we do not possess or could possibly understand, because if we did, then they wouldn't be UFOs. They would be IFOs, right? Identified flying objects. So we have no idea what this technology is, but they just so happen to use a piece of technology that is actually pretty primitive. I mean, how old are headlights? Headlights were on the first cars available, What are the chances aliens have all of this amazing fucking technology? And they just use this incredibly primitive a piece of technology that humans also use. Like, you would think that they don't need fucking headlights. Why do they need headlights? They don't have fucking sonar shit up there. They don't have fucking heat mapping sensory bullshit. I mean, half of the things you hear from these people talking about how the people who claim to understand how UFOs work, you know, they have all of this like science about it. Like, everybody knows that magnesium sulfate is like quasi-amorphous and it can like take on any fucking shape and whatever. Why the fucking headlights? That's a great point, Dominic. Never heard that said before. Great fucking point. Oh, but let me tell you about the UFO that I saw real quick. I saw a UFO in Death Valley, Nevada, which I'm skeptical of my own experience because what are the chances? Though I was with a friend who also saw the same thing I did. So this wasn't like, I know it wasn't hallucinatory or something. And what I saw was pretty fucking strange, I have to say. It basically was like, it almost looked like a classical flying disc UFO, you know? This was at nighttime. And there weren't headlights, but it did glow. And it looked like amorphous. It was kind of like made out of like jello. It was like, and then it started to like vibrate, like, and then like it looked like a lightning storm formed around it. Like, it looked like some wizard shit, you know? Like, it was like lightning like around it, and it was like, and then it went, and then it stopped on a fucking dime. And I'm not an astronomer, so I don't fucking know. I have no gauge to like say how many miles it had just traveled in this short period of time after turning into the fucking lightning jello and they're going stopping. But the fact that it could stop on a fucking dime like that really fucking freaked me out. And also I have no idea how many miles it traveled in that short period of time. So that fucking freaked me out. But you know what? I was looking into drone technology and what it's capable of. And if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on this, but one of the things I found was that the fastest flying drone that exists in the United States, at least I think, because I'm pretty sure I got this from like a US government website, the fastest drone can fly across the entire country from east to west coast in something like minutes. I think it said 12 minutes, but that honestly doesn't sound right to me. So I don't even know if it's that, but it's really fucking fast, okay? And you have to think, what is the human eye capable of? People don't pay enough credence to the idea that optics is a science that is not really understood by your average person. Even the super sciencey people, you know. We always talk about things like material compositions, geology, other more accessible sciences. People barely talk about optics, the science of optics, and, you know, what kinds of visual trickery could also be going on. Because I have to say, if it's true that there's a drone that could fly across the span of the United States in 12 minutes, which, again, I'm not sure that's the actual number, so please don't quote me on that. But fast as fuck, okay? I can't even see my hand move across my face like this. You know? Like, do I really have a clear image of my face going like, my hand going like this across my fucking face? No. Okay, so why the fuck would I think that if I witnessed something like this, the fastest drone that ever existed, I could trust my visual perception of this flying object? Of course it would present as something strange, because there could be something totally like, you know, it could be the byproduct of optical trickery. Am I wrong? I'm not closed, of course, to the possibility that I did see some fucking alien jello lightning bolt UFO bullshit, okay? That could absolutely be true. But I also know that if I witnessed something like one of these fast as fuck drones, I also would not trust my visual perception of this phenomena. I think that it would probably appear in a way where I'm not really getting a clear picture of what is happening. Am I wrong? Let's continue. By the way, anyone in the YouTube chat, hop over to twitch.tv/Phenomenology Club or whatever, because then you can type like this, and it will show up. Isn't that so fucking wow? Let's continue. Tell me if the audio on here is not loud enough, because I'll turn it up.
those now. I mean, like we can use the technology. So it's interesting that we always use like
Now
human-like
it's too
objects
loud, I
to
think.
There
explain
isn't like
aliens.
a catch-all, you know what I mean? Because it's like you said, oh, they have headlights. Well, maybe, yeah, maybe they have lights, but maybe it's not so they can see. There could be a different purpose for it, you know what I mean?
Maybe I'm
I'm not one to be a fibber, you know? It's like, if I believe in something, I'm not afraid to say it, you know, even if people might think
Can you
I'm
hear me
crazy
if I
or
talk
whatever,
over
you
these
know, 'cause
assholes?
It's
Just kidding, Luke, you're cool.
Something that's so weird and different that, I mean, why would you make that up?
Aliens live among
they
us today.
Here we go. Here we fucking go.
This galaxy, this universe is so vast and wide. To believe that they aren't here now is kind of dumb, in my opinion.
Some kind of multi-dimensional thing.
Then
I mean,
why is she a
someone's flying all
skeptic?
those crafts that people see out there.
Right.
I've never seen any that I know of, but I have interviewed a lot of researchers who have
This beanie.
heard from people within the
Amazing.
government, within the Department of Defense, that have said that they are pretty confident that that's a reality and that the black budget goes to trying to keep some kind
The
of
Department
tabs
of
on
Defense told
this
me.
activity.
I have read some stuff about people being abducted into government facilities, Area 51, things like that. If we're talking about like the traditional sense of like an alien, they work with our government, they keep this matrix operating, you know? And
Oh, no.
as someone who identifies as a starseed, I mean, like technically
fuck is a
I'm an alien that
starseed?
incarnated here.
I'm sorry. What the fuck is a starseed? I need to get to the bottom of this. What is a starseed? Please Google, because I can't continue without knowing this valuable information. Star people. Okay. Okay. What are starseeds and light workers? As I mentioned previously, who the fuck are you? Light workers come from places above the third dimension. 3D, in parentheses. I love that. 3D. The third dimension. 3D. The interdimensional energies around Earth, but not too much further. Oh, that makes perfect sense. Are you a starseed? Read these 27 starseed characteristics. Am I a starseed? Holy shit. Are you guys a starseed? Let's see. How do I know if I'm a starseed? You may have a quiet sense that you came from somewhere beyond this planet and can imagine your physical appearance from prior lives. In other worlds. Get me out of here. You might also be wondering how you got here and if you'll ever return. Even with these real feelings of alignment with other worlds, you might never know whether or not you are genuinely starseed. Wow. Wow. Starseed types, here we go. Sirian. These souls come from the planets Sirius A and Sirius B. That's Sirius. Sirius A is the brightest star in the Earth's sky. Its original inhabitants come from Vega, in the Lyra constellation, the supposed home of Earth's ancestors. Get me out of here. This isn't even helping me know if I'm a starseed, and how do I know if I'm from Sirius or from fucking Andromedon, huh? Huh? How do I fucking know? Where's the quiz? What kind of starseed are you? Alright, let's see. I still don't understand what the fuck a starseed is. Here we go, Wikipedia. Starseeds are future star magnolias, says Ayatollah. Oh, of course. Guys, type in the Twitch box. Go to Twitch. Go to the description thing. Because look, it'll pop up. Look. Look. Go there now. Stop typing in the YouTube thing. Type in this thing, okay? Because I don't want to look at the YouTube screen. Okay? Alright, let's see. Star people. New Age belief. Great. Here we go. Star people, also known as star seeds and sometimes indigo children, oh, I've heard of that, is a concept from ancient cultures of the world, fringe theory. What? Fringe theory? That sentence doesn't make sense. Yeah, a fringe theory is like a general concept. This says, is a concept from ancient cultures of the world, fringe theory. That's just a weird sentence, sorry. Introduced by Brad Steiger in his 1976 book, Gods of Aquarius, it argues that certain people originated as extraterrestrials and arrived on Earth through birth or as a walk-in to an existing human body. What's a walk-in to an existing human body, boy? Do you have a sensation that you walked into your existing human body? You might be a starseed. Walk-in. A walk-in is a New Age concept of a person whose original soul has departed his or her body and has been replaced with a new, generally more advanced soul. Jesus. This is why we need phenomenology, my brothers and my sisters. Because everything we're reading about here, this is the dangers, and the UFO question itself, the dangers of putting so much faith in your own experience, which we know is so marked by deception. It's not the idea that I don't believe things happen to me, things that I don't understand. It's this false confidence that you understand the translation of everything that you experience. AKA says, do you disassociate? You might be a starseed, right? Exactly. It's like everything I experience. I mean, I think this is too why people like this use dreams and shit as like the evidence that I'm a starseed. Because I had a dream that I left my fucking body and then I walked in and then I went to Sirius. And then it's like, where do you draw the line between the knowledge? Or do you just totally disavow the knowledge or the possibility that anything you experience might not be exactly what you think it is right away? Do you believe in things like illusions, optical illusions, audio illusions? I mean, these things are also observable phenomena. So if you're using your observations to verify everything that you think might be true, I mean, that's just bullshit. How do you choose? How do I choose between the observation of a thing happening to me and the observation of the fact that humans experience all types of audiovisual trickery in our phenomena of experience, in our sensorium, our perceptive sensorium? But you know what? I sound pretty fucking smart right now. Maybe I'm just a starseed. Maybe I possess an otherworldly knowledge. Are you jealous? I'm different, says Kawaii. Exactly. So I still don't get what a starseed is, but basically it's some bullshit, okay? No offense to Lauren, because I think she's actually really cute. Like her hair, and she seems nice. So I'm not coming for you, Lauren. I respect you.
I guess I interpret it as living among us. I think of like, you know, the reptilians where, you know, they're in disguise and they're assimilating into our society where you could be an alien and you're just not saying it. You know what I mean?
I really am.
I don't know if you see them in the line at Starbucks, but I do think for there to be physical experiences, they're sharing the planet with us.
I just find the notion pretty far-fetched. I mean, why the secrecy? If they want to learn from us, if they want to learn about them, why wouldn't they just step forward and say, here we are?
I think we all obviously believe aliens do exist here, or statistically, which is fine, but to say that...
Wait, I want to answer what Spencer just said. Spencer just said that the reason he doesn't believe aliens would be among us, at least living among us on like the human level, you know, in our communities and stuff. Why wouldn't they just say, hey, here I am? I mean, excuse me. I can't even understand why you would assume that aliens would live among us, because if aliens are chilling out in the fucking stratosphere, wherever the fuck they be chilling with their headlights and their other primitive human technology for no apparent reason, then why would they interact with us at all? You know, it's such a selfish viewpoint, because this is the way I see it. Of course, if the observable universe exists the way that we think it does, then of course aliens exist, right? But first of all, why do we think necessarily that they're here and very active? Because you have to also think, I mean, the universe is so huge, right? This is the thing that justifies our confidence in the idea that aliens have to exist, right? But why would we think then that they've necessarily found us? That's almost like selfish, you know, like this idea like, oh, of course they found us. They came right to us. They were like, oh, we heard that humans are on this faraway planet, or there's some cool species over there. Let's go, guys. The way I see it, it's like, first of all, how do I even think that they found us? That they want to make waste the resources that they use to come here, period. That also implies that they don't possess things like remote technologies that would even allow them to verify our existence here. You know, it's like if they have can identify that we exist here, you know, then they're doing this with some sort of remote technology. So why do we assume then they have to show up here with their fucking headlights, zooming in and picking us up? And of course, like, maybe they do that, you know, but why would it be something where it's like they're so heavily invested in the populations? We don't know that they're not here highly interested in, like, cuttlefish, you know? Why do we assume, too, that we're the most interesting species to aliens? Maybe aliens are here and they're studying fucking our ant populations, our insect populations, you know? There's just so many variables at play. Why do we assume that they're fucking... Oh, sorry. Why do we just assume that they're, like, necessarily so invested in us, you know? And also that they would necessarily, they could be interested in us. I would not make that assumption. I think that there's probably other species on this earth that they could be just as well, like, super interested in, you know? Why would it be like they live among us even, or they would say hi? Like, first of all, even this perspective from this skeptic, I think, is selfish, you know? Why would they say hi? Maybe they don't give a fuck about us. Maybe they're like, yeah, I'm on Earth and I'm talking to the fucking chimpanzees because they're more interesting to us, because we have reasons that you don't understand, so shut the fuck up, you know? But beyond that, it's like, too, I think about it like, how do we know that these alien species that could or could not be here, let's assume that they are researching humans or whatever. That could be akin to, like, some scientist that exists now that's, like, trying to get funding to, like, go study seagulls in Alaska. Maybe they're like, fuck you, guy. The seagulls aren't that fucking interesting. We don't have the kind of funding. We're not going to give you this money to go fucking do it. Maybe they pop up once in a while, make a little documentary about whatever species on Earth and leave, you know? Like, who knows? I wouldn't assume that they would, like, talk to us. It's such a fucking... It's predicated on this idea that we have discussed many times in Phenomenology Club, this idea that, like, humans are the most inexplicably special species on the face of the goddamn earth, and there is something so unique about us that separates us from all of the other beasts of the field and the lilies of the motherfucking valley. Get the fuck over yourself. And look, nobody loves humans more than me, okay? But I don't harbor this false fucking belief that comes out of cockiness that I, as a member of the human race, am intrinsically interesting by principle of this alone. Suck my fucking dick. Anyway, let's keep watching. Oh, someone said that they're bankrupt and can't give money or something. That's fine. This shit is free. I could do this all fucking day. But of course, feel free to donate if you want. And then your name will pop up on this little fucking thing you see right here. Look. Look at that. And yes, again, one more time. Type into Twitch. Zensei, I see you. Zensei said, actually, very poignant perspective for me at the moment. I feel like I've been losing my sense of realisticness during this lockdown. I keep thinking I'm being communicated with through angel numbers. Zensei, you are not being communicated with through angel numbers. Let me just tell you that right now. I'm glad that you can recognize that you are struggling with something that's likely being triggered by this extreme set of circumstances that we exist in right now. Please take care of that. Because that's how you end up, if you go down that road, that's how you end up butt naked standing over someone with a bloody knife, okay? So be careful. We care about you, okay? Thank you. Let's continue.
That they traveled here is another thing, because like with the Roswell crash, very, very unlikely to see someone be able to do that 10,000 years, cross the entire universe, and then crash immediately when we get here.
Well, plus you look at the debris. I mean, they have pictures of the debris. It's like literally balsa wood and, you know, mylars.
Pictures they showed you of the debris.
Exactly.
But the point is, there's not enough physical. You know, if you're in a spaceship, it's not going to be 3 pounds of debris.
I've read a lot of books about the chain of custody of that material. There's thousands of people who've had experiences. There's dozens and dozens of crash stories that are beyond Roswell.
Do you think that the person writing the book has an incentive financially to write a book?
Yes, but is a doctor less good because he makes money being a doctor?
That's a point. That's a point. I don't think Dominic really raised a strong point when he just asked this guy, you know, are these books financial? Are there financial incentives behind the books? I mean, Dominic, are there financial incentives behind you being a fucking astrophysicist or whatever the fuck you said you were? Come on, Dominic. I know you could do better.
Aliens is kind of a loaded term. I mean, I think of non-human intelligences,
Aliens is a loaded
which
term.
could be things people experience on psychedelics. I woke up one day a complete material
Happened to me.
atheist.
Happened to
Some
me.
friends convinced me to try Salvia divinorum, and then it was kind of like an instantaneous out-of-body experience. And then that felt entirely natural. It felt more normal than waking life. And then there was a male and female entity of
And they
some
fucked
kind, and
right in front of
they
me.
spoke to me. They're like, "Wow, we're surprised you're here." I'm like, "I'm surprised."
They
I'm
were like,
here."
"Wow,
And
you're
one
here?"
Was more cynical.
They were like, "Wow, you're here too? That's crazy. We're male. Well, I'm a male alien. This is my colleague, the female alien. That is so crazy that we're all here together."
About the fact that I wouldn't be there long, and the other one was
What?
just more excited about being there at all. And the one was like, "Well, you know, why are you even talking to this guy? He's gonna be gone. He's gonna be gone in just a few minutes." And I was like, "But he's
They
here
had this
now."
discussion in
And,
front of you? That's
I'm
so
convinced
rude.
there's intelligences out there that are non-human that we can't interact with, but that kind of changed my life, actually.
I could see how it would. This male and female alien had an argument in front of you when you were on Salvia. That would change my worldview too, Dominic. Absolutely. Whether or not that I believe that I really experienced what I thought I experienced, my worldview would still be altered, you know. And have you guys seen the DMT elves? Because have you met them? I've met the DMT elves. And I have to say that was a very strange experience, and it did change my worldview. But you know what I didn't do? I didn't just say, okay, I met the DMT elves, so clearly the DMT elves exist. I said, I met the fucking DMT elves. That's fucking crazy. I don't know what that means. It means, well, actually, I do know what it means. You know what it means? It means I met the DMT elves. Wow.
I think people on the other side are misinformed.
Uh-oh. Bite. Oh, here we go.
I think the data for UFOs and non-human intelligence is pretty strong. I think you have to really dive into it because it's not being presented on the news. But when you look at it, there's no shortage of really credible sources that have seen some pretty incredible things. Paul Hellyer is the ex-defense minister of Canada, and he says, hey, there's these crafts flying over and they're shooting our nuclear facilities with some kind of beam and disabling them. I mean, that's a fairly credible source.
Right. Well, look, anecdotal evidence is some evidence, but it's not strong evidence. As far as physical evidence, that's where we fall short.
I would disagree with that. Have you ever tried a psychedelic compound?
I have not.
I mean, hey, we
What
can
is that
figure this
proof
out
of?
pretty quick. Then you do it, and then you tell me it wasn't real.
Well, so you're
Tell you what wasn't real. Sorry, let's hear his response.
saying that something you take is going to create an external difference. We can't look at that as evidence any more than we can.
Fight.
I dreamt
It
something.
widens perceptions of
That-
consciousness.
But that's from your brain.
But that's like a hallucination.
you.
That's not really expanding consciousness. Like you're talking
Well,
about
what's-
like hallucinating.
Well, what's the difference?
the
So
difference?
I think science is also based on perception.
Wait, she said, what'd she say? Consciousness of what?
But that's from your brain.
Getting phenomenological up in here.
That's like a hallucination. That's not really expanding consciousness. Like you're talking
Well,
about
what's-
like
Okay,
hallucinating.
Descartes.
What's the difference?
So I think science is also based on perception. So you're talking about the brain and the brain being powerful. But so is our heart center, which science can prove
Facts.
has its own
Our heart
energy
center,
field
guys.
around it, and it's much stronger than
How could you forget about the fucking energy field around your heart center? God damn it, Spencer.
our brain. So the point that I want to make is like science is based on perception. It's a bunch of people perceiving studies a certain way, right? But so is
But hold on.
spirituality.
The difference between science is not that 5 different scientists perceive something differently or in the same way. They look at evidence, and if that evidence guides them and points them toward a particular direction and is repeatable and it's falsifiable, we tend to say, well, that's what reality tends to be or seems to be.
That's
And-
reality based on your perception.
No, it's not a perception.
It is. Everything is
Science is good at-
perception.
Science is good at things in the
They should let me direct this, yo. Disagree with what Spencer just said. Starseed is talking. Is Yakub an alien meme? Is Yakub technically an alien? Not, I don't think he's technically an alien. But there's some alien stuff going on there, of course. Disagree, Spencer, with what you just said. They're fighting about... Let's look at this one more time, okay? Okay? Because I'm having fun. I don't know about you guys, but I'm having the best fucking time of my fucking life. And I need to rewatch that because I want to think about it.
That's a fairly credible source.
Right. Well, look, anecdotal evidence is some evidence, but it's not strong evidence. As far as physical evidence, that's where we fall short.
I would disagree with that. Have you ever tried a psychedelic compound?
I have not.
I mean, hey,
I've
we can
tripped
figure
more
this
times
out
than
pretty
this
quick.
guy, okay?
Then you do it, and then you tell me it wasn't real.
Well, so you're saying that something you take is going to create an external difference? We can't look at that as evidence any more than we can, I dreamt
It
something.
widens perceptions of consciousness?
But that's from your brain.
But that's like a hallucination. That's not really expanding consciousness. Like you're talking about like hallucinating.
Well, what's the difference?
So I think science is also based on perception. So you're talking about the brain and the brain being powerful. But so is our heart center, which science can prove has its own energy field around it, and it's much stronger than our brain. So the point that I want to make is like science is based on perception. It's a bunch of people perceiving studies a certain way, right? But so is spirituality.
The difference between science is not that 5 different scientists perceive something differently or in the same way. They look at evidence, and if that evidence guides them and points them toward a particular direction and is repeatable and it's falsifiable, we tend to say, well, that's what reality tends to be or seems to be.
But that's reality based on your perception.
No, it's not a perception.
It is. Everything
It is a perception. It is a perception. Okay, it is. Starseed has a point. I don't know what the fuck she's talking about with the fucking heart. Science has proven that your heart energy center has a force field around it, and science has proven that it's stronger than the fucking brain force field. I don't know what Starseed's talking about, but she has a fucking point. Of course, absolutely. But this is like philosophy 101, and I am surprised, Spencer, at your lack of a good answer to that. I mean, you should be prepared for this by now, right? Of course, science is also biased by perception, because what is empiricism, Spencer? All scientific data comes to us by way of observational evidence. We come up with criteria to use, talking about repeatability, which Spencer has just said. You know, we talk about this kind of thing. We create criteria to try to create a system through which we can choose which observations are the best observations to integrate into our theories of science. But Starseed is absolutely correct that, science itself, of course, comes from a particular lens, and that lens is crafted through our own perceptions. And this guy talking about psychedelics, I mean, you're embarrassing me. I love psychedelics. Who doesn't? But these people who are like, dude, what I experienced was real. I mean, the Spencer guy raised a good point. Like, okay, what are dreams real then too, you know? You can't prove either way that what you experience on psychedelics is like a thing. A real thing. I don't know what this guy's talking about, because, you know, I've tripped balls many a times, and I was never like, okay, I'm really in a giant Hindu designed warehouse and a Hindu hand is coming towards me really slowly and like gonna kill me. I never for a second was like, okay, that Hindu hand that tried to kill me in DMT zone was real. No fucking way.
We're probably misinformed about a lot of stuff, but for the other side to say you guys are misinformed, I think is just as ridiculous, because I think
that's like what I meant, honestly, is like we all have our own truth, and that's relative to you, and it's valid regardless.
And I think that can be true for people, and I
Lauren,
think it's hard
don't be
because
a
I could
nihilist.
show you an expert, it's meaningless to you, but you could show me your expert, and this is the right one. And so it's interesting because I work with a lot of Muslims. They're saying, I've spoken to my God. Then a Christian says, the Muslim God is wrong, but I've spoken to my God. And a Hindu says, I've actually recognized and remembered my past life, and I can name it down to a T. And so if we get to that point, I think everyone would then just be right, and we would know there would be no actual unifying reality. But the scientific community is saying we want to create a unified reality between each other so we can progress in our own way. And that's why science, we would never say there aren't aliens or are aliens. You're saying aliens, there was a crash. We would say there could be, but we don't know, and right now it's leaning this way. So misinformation is different. It's more just about kind of like hard-headedness on that.
I think it's more close-mindedness to say, yours whole kind of organization is not to be malicious in debunking things, but that is your goal, is to disprove something.
No, that's not at all. It's absolutely not true.
Well,
Our organization looks at evidence for things, and we ask others. They have a claim of a paranormal activity. Great, show it to us. Show us the evidence. We don't do anything to debunk.
Type into the Twitch
I feel
stream.
like that's really limiting, though.
No,
that's
but,
the thing.
But the point is,
with
that's not limiting.
misinformation, I just feel like it's just
No,
limiting instead of misinformation.
Well, the purpose is
to find the truth.
To find the truth. And
What do you say to the U.S. Navy, who has come out and said there are unidentified flying crafts that defy physics? We don't know what they are. Is that a credible source?
We don't know our physics.
Yeah, but the point is,
learning.
Hold on, I got to put coffee
I
on.
agree with that. I think that's why there's a lot of suppression in this area, because it unlocks hidden
But if the
technologies.
U.S. Navy is saying we don't know what it is, that's the point.
There's so many tapes that you see from like the Air Force where you see these flying objects.
I don't
And that's
disagree.
the same thing of saying, 5,000 years ago, that's thunder. You guys saw that thunder. It's God. We're just saying we don't know, and to jump to conclusions.
But jumping to conclusion is kind of far-fetched.
We've kind of exploded, but this was good.
You
That's the
asked
good
for
stuff.
this.
It's your fault.
Is this the content you want?
I am completely on the side of science and evidence. I investigate claims of the paranormal with a group called the Center for Inquiry Investigations Group, and we have not found any evidence whatsoever of any sort of paranormal activity or aliens or any of that sort of thing, and we've looked.
And you've been on the show before, right?
I have been on the show before, yes, in the Flat Earth episode.
Nice. What was that experience like?
It was a great experience. My only comment was that we presented a lot of science and all of that was edited out. We sort of ended up with interesting sound bites, but not so much of the science.
Well, I'm sorry for that. The Area 51 raid was a bad idea.
Oops,
If you
here
try
I am.
to storm military facilities, you're going to have a bad time.
Exactly.
If they can wipe people's memories that have been working there for 20 years like that, then what could they do to people that are trying to storm a government facility?
Girl, what? Yo, I really want to like Starseed. I do like Starseed, okay?
I think it started as just
She's
like,
crazy. Imagine
joke
tripping with
Facebook
Starseed.
or something like that.
I might lose it.
Which is like, okay, that's kind of funny, but the fact that there is kind of a somewhat of a consensus
said it.
where,
You could wipe
at least with
people's
skeptics,
memories.
that people who do believe in aliens are somewhat crazy or weird. You know what I mean? Like something's a little off with them. So it was bad not only just for people in general, but also believers in UFOs and aliens in general.
Lauren.
I definitely don't believe it was necessarily a bad idea. I feel like it put pressure on the government to be like, hey, there are a lot of people who are curious about what you're doing. And if you have a whole facility of just like
This girl says she's a skeptic, but every time she talks,
it's
it's like she's not.
And see for yourself.
And I definitely agree with that, but it wasn't like we had a group of, scientists and well-to-do people that would be, I guess, more respected. It was just a bunch of kids making jokes about clapping alien cheeks. You know what I mean? It's just like there was no seriousness behind it.
It was like the way it was constructed.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny. I mean, was it a big deal? What even
I
happened?
feel like religion or science could be kind of limited and boxed.
True.
I have a Catholic background, so in my family,
So I'm traumatized. I get
aliens
it.
aren't real.
Me
It's
too.
just human beings. So growing up in that kind of environment, I should have a different opinion from what I have now.
I believe humans were created by a higher power.
You know the guy in the beanie's gonna wild out right now.
You said humans, right? Okay.
He's gonna...
Just clarifying.
I'm ready.
I grew up as a Catholic, and to now, I've transitioned to being a Christian and all of that. So I do believe in God. I do believe that He created us, and I also believe He created everything else, the planet, nature, the galaxy, and beyond.
If the question was, were we made by aliens, I might not have stepped forward, but higher power is a wider umbrella. We're clearly very different from every other thing on this planet.
Right.
No, we're not. What's your problem, you fucking human elitist? What the? I'm speaking facts. I'm Woody Harrelson in 2012.
And I think there was some intervention at some point.
Hold on, I want to
that
hear
might
the beginning of this, because this shit,
and
this
beyond.
makes
If the
me
question
so
was,
mad.
Were we made by aliens? I might not have stepped forward, but higher power is a wider umbrella. We're clearly very different
Okay,
from every
Spinoza.
other thing on this planet.
Boy,
And I think there was some intervention at some point that might have facilitated that. Terrence McKenna thought it was mushrooms.
oh my
that
God, Terrence
we
McKenna
did
thought it was
psychedelic
mushrooms.
and that
She's like, yeah,
facilitated
I
a
know
evolution
Terrence McKenna. I'm a starseed.
of consciousness, and mushroom spores can survive in space too. So maybe they are the
Bro, this guy just like loves
aliens that helped us
psychedelics
get to
so
where we-
much. He just can't reconcile that his experience with psychedelics has been so transformative that it has to, because it's been so transformative for him, he can't reconcile the idea that it's possible that this has nothing to do with like the origin of the human experience. He is just placing psychedelics as like the ground zero of all human experience. Clearly, it must have something to do with us. I'm not saying it's aliens, but... And he's just all over the place, too. I mean, it's like, okay, so what? You're saying that psychedelics... Okay, wait, okay. Oh, because he said if the question was aliens. So this guy's implying that maybe mushroom spores... What, Greg? Came down on a fucking meteor and then grew. And then the monkeys ate the space mushrooms and then slowly evolved to have our qualities. Why? Isn't that so? This is what pisses me off, and why people like him have this attitude that we're just the fucking best. All humans are the best species. I mean, we are the best species, but of course I have to say that because I'm a human. Of course I'm gonna rep where I'm from, But I don't think in a universal sense this is true. Like a dolphin better fucking think the dolphin is the best species ever. Otherwise, that dolphin is a fucking self-hating fucking asshole, You have to rep your tribe. So, of course, I think humans are the best, but he thinks that humans are just so inexplicably set apart. He said that there's nothing else on the earth like us. And isn't that so... To take, like, a thing like mushrooms, a thing from the earth, and then be like, okay, the mushrooms came, and if this has anything to do with the origins of everything or something, then clearly it has something to do with the evolution of humans and... What? Your beanie's a little too tight, Greg.
we are right now.
His third eye is showing,
So
right?
we are for sure an evolutionary
That's what he's hiding
accent.
with the beanie.
Don't know why we developed these big brains, but we did. I mean,
Even
we've
you,
only been
flattering
around for
yourself.
a couple 100,000 years.
Yeah, actually, kind of piggyback off of that.
Like, of course humans are the most intelligent species, because what is intelligence except a human concept that we created where we are the standard, Intelligence describes something we possess, and we describe all other species in proximity. When we talk about their intelligence, we describe their intelligence in a way where it's in proximity to our own. So, of course, we're the most intelligent species because we're the species that define the word intelligence. We're the only species that uses this word intelligence, and we hold all other species up to this standard. But that is not... That only means that we're the most intelligent... We humans possess the most human intelligence. No fucking shit. Of course we possess the most human intelligence. We're the only fucking humans, So this idea that, like, you know, all other species are lesser intelligence, and this is the thing that justifies my suspicion in all that's around me, so much that I have to come up with theories about how maybe space mushrooms came in a fucking meteor and the monkeys ate them, and that's how I became the most intelligent thing on the face of the fucking planet. I mean, I need to research this more, so I'm not gonna like speak on it too much, but I've been thinking so much about other species' intelligence. I think of camouflage. Camouflage trips me out. Have you ever thought about how camouflage could be experienced? You are a species that can camouflage yourself. Is this a conscious decision? I looked into it a little bit, and it's something that scientists are really invested in now more than ever. And this is a field that hasn't been studied nearly as much as you might be led to believe. Scientists don't really understand all of the mechanisms of camouflage. I mean, think about it. I mean, watch these videos of cuttlefish. They're like the craziest example, but even chameleons, you know. How could you possibly know what is behind me? Like, if I was a species that could camouflage myself right now, I would get stripes up here to be the couch. I would get some red here to create the corner of this futon thing or whatever the fuck it's called, and the pattern of the floor. What kind of intelligence must be happening for me to do this? Especially if this is a process that is mitigated by some sort of conscious effort. Is it? You know, this is something that they're not quite sure about, but from what I've read, they think that there is some sort of conscious intention there. It's not something that you totally lack control over, this process, you know, that you just randomly go into camouflage or something. And this belief, or this theory rather, I think is supported by studies done on like chameleons becoming angry, you know, where they are hypothesizing into the possibility that chameleons consciously do camouflage themselves, you know. But like, how could you, especially us, try to think for a second, okay, I'm a species, I want to camouflage myself right now. What would that feel like? Could it, especially to a conscious mind that is making this decision? I don't even know how would I would look at it and then be like, okay, I think I could do it. And then it would just look like some terrible like McDonald's stripes or something, you know? Like, how could I fucking do that, you know? That's just crazy. So, yeah, this idea that humans must be the most intelligent because we fucking talk and came up with the word intelligence, I mean, it's just absurd. I think about species like cuttlefish and even chameleons. Maybe they're more intelligent than us. If we're defining intelligence from a broader context, I don't think that you can use this metric of intelligence that humans came up with, which only describes human intelligence, to compare ourselves as being of more intelligence to other species. Or you can, but these conversations just become so futile. Of course we possess the most human intelligence, but what is a truer rather intelligence? If we wanted to come up with a definition of intelligence that truly gives other species some sort of fucking props, which our definition of intelligence absolutely does not. I mean, animals are doing all sorts of fucking crazy, freaky shit. That's why I say, too, that if aliens are here, why do we assume that we are the species they must be preoccupied with? They could be down in the fucking depths of the ocean fucking with that weird shit down there. Like, why are we the most? You know, they're probably just like, oh, yeah, them. We know about that kind of a thing. We've observed it already on these 500 million planets, but you know what we're really interested in? This fucking goldfish, because they're created under these conditions. And you know, like, it could literally be any species that aliens are preoccupied with. And this is part of my problem with these conversations, because this is always kind of a justification. Even the skeptics are going there, you know, this idea that, like, the thing that draws aliens to us too is their interest in us, not in our atmosphere, not in our other species, not in just the general biodiversity of the earth, you know. It's us. They're here to pick our brains. Get over yourself.
Where, you know, as us as
they're
animals,
gonna put stuff in
that's
my
basically
butt.
what we are. We're just really smart animals. You know, it's just we took a path of how we evolved to where we are today. You know, and like you said with the mushrooms possibly being that would be part of the evolution we are.
It does change brain chemistry, psilocybin mushrooms.
It does, but that would
my
be
God, get
more
over
toward
it,
a Lamarckian
Beanie.
evolution as
You
opposed
get
to a
it, you like the
Darwinian
trip.
evolution, because Lamarck thought that if you just did pressure, if you did forces, then that would change different generations, and we're pretty sure that doesn't happen. I mean, many generations of
Guy's
Jews
like, yeah,
have
I
been
know about that.
circumcising
Hold
their
on,
babies.
it's freezing. Stop freezing, you fucking dumb thing. Let's go.
Part of the evolution of what we are.
It does change brain chemistry, psilocybin mushrooms.
It does, but that would be more toward a Lamarckian evolution as opposed to a Darwinian evolution, because Lamarck thought that if you just did pressure, if you did forces, then that would change different generations, and we're pretty sure that doesn't happen. I mean,
Like,
many generations
I
of
know about
Jews
that.
have been circumcising their babies, and yet every baby has been born with a foreskin after that. So,
Spencer, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard anyone say. Do you know how dumb you sound? That was so dumb. How can you sound dumb talking to this guy? No offense to the beanie guy. I think his name's Greg. That's what I've been calling him. If it's not, that's his honorary name. Literally, how could you... What? Jews have been circumcised for every generation since whatever, and they don't come out circumcised? Literally the dumbest shit I've ever heard. That's like saying humans have been cutting their hair for centuries, and why don't humans just come out with shorter hair? Stupid. Stupid. It proved
sort of
no point.
not something you apparently.
But when we talked about higher power, I don't know you well enough, we just met, but I guarantee he wouldn't be past saying, yes, aliens could have made us.
Okay.
You know, there could be civilizations that are tens of thousands of years ahead of us. They could have came in here and alter things. That is 100% a possibility. But possibility and probability are two different things, and I think that's really important, because I can sit here all day and tell you, yes, we could all be in a simulation. That is, and statistically possible, but statistically possible is not how we all operate our lives. We use...
It's glitching. Hold on, I'm just gonna refresh it. This is so annoying. It's all these dumbasses talking about stuff. Just kidding. These people are fun. They're fun. I'm having a fun time. Refresh, idiot. You fucking dumbass. You fucking stupid. Well, while that happens, what's up with these star people? Really? 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 Come on. Star people. I'm scared to go back and forth. My computer's being...
But when we
here
talked
we
about
go.
higher power, I don't know you well enough, we just met, but I guarantee he wouldn't be past saying, yes, aliens could have made
God, I'm over it.
us.
Okay.
You know, there could be civilizations that are tens of thousands of years of us. They could have came in here and altered things. That is 100% a possibility. But possibility and probability are two different things, and I think that's really important, because I can sit here all day and tell you, yes, we could all be in a simulation. That is, and statistically possible.
Don't
but
get me
statistically
started.
possible is not how we all operate our lives. We use statistics in everyday life, and I think that's really important to not let it go when it comes to everything else, when it comes to spiritual issues or evolution, and just say, although I operate my entire life off statistics, I'm not going to do it here.
I think there is some science that like indicates like life on other planets, or like,
Yeah, my computer needs
going
you to
back
stop
to,
typing
like,
in YouTube
ancient
so I can close this
civilizations,
channel.
there is proof that like
There's too much going on
they
right now.
believed in aliens, but for me personally, I would say it's very spiritual based.
It's very
My
spiritual
views
based.
on
Of
this
course it would
topic
be.
are an important part of my identity.
Oh, great.
It wouldn't make sense for me to not step forward considering the fact that I identify as a starseed. So it's just something
Girl.
that you awaken to
Yeah.
your own divinity, and it's very personal to you. And I think we're all on different paths, and everyone's valid in their own way, but
Absolutely. And when you have an experience with it,
No, they're
it's
not.
It's verified. It's validated. But
Agreed,
until you do,
100%.
it's not there.
That is so false, Greg. This is Greg's problem. We've already talked about it. He thinks everything that happens to him, that he understands it immediately. How can you, where does this kind of confidence come from? Isn't that sad? It makes me sad for him. His beanie. Too tight. Have some faith in yourself, you know? It's interesting because people talk about it as if you are being self-hating if you don't put instant faith in all of your experiences. But I see it the other way, you know. You should put faith in your own ability to troubleshoot issues and put more give more credence to the fact that you are such a complex organism. Your perception is so complex. There's so many variables affecting it at any given moment that to just put full faith in the idea that as soon as a thing happens to you, that it is exactly what it presents to you as, you know, you're doing a disservice to your own physiology, in my opinion. Give the human body some more fucking props, you know. We are so much more complex than this thing that just experiences things, and then as soon as you fucking do, you fucking know what's going on. Get out of here.
It fascinates me, you know. I've watched many documentaries, many specials and things like
So
that
many
regarding
documentaries.
this topic, but it's not like I live and breathe it.
You know, I'm not going to dwell on it till it happens. I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'd love to be the first guy to, you know, see the craft land, go up, introduce myself, you know, get some alien technology, take my photos with my iPhone up close, you know, selfies. I mean, I would love to.
You're
do
not
that.
funny.
When you're ready.
Yeah, right, exactly. Right.
Ayahuasca is a facilitator of contact made from
Stop!
tree plants in the Amazon.
I've had a friend do it, and he basically said that from that he found Hinduism, and he knows to be sure that reincarnation is real, aliens aren't, it's all on Earth. So that's why it's interesting, because it's like, would you disagree with his statement that there are no other aliens, it's just Hinduism, and why would his trip be different than yours and non?
Well, I just consider the umbrella of aliens to be more like non-human intelligences, whether it's
umbrella of
multidimensional,
aliens.
something people call spirits or angels or aliens. It doesn't seem like his experience necessarily would devalue that. He might have a different box or label.
I normally tell everyone I don't have beliefs, it's all based off statistics. I'm not here to say 100% there are aliens, just statistically there are. So I'm here to always just make the boundary between people who say 100% there are aliens and the people who say 100% there aren't aliens. And I don't think either of those are correct, but we have to look at it as a number situation, and I think that's very important because we can't be using our emotion or our religion to determine whether there are aliens or not.
Dominic, I'm over you too, okay? You can get it too. Talking about we can't use our emotions, we can't use our religion. These are ideas that I fucking hate as well, okay, Dominic? So let me talk to you for a second, you motherfucker. Statistics. I mean, this idea that scientific and statistical thinking and empirical thinking is so markedly different than the kinds of thinking that goes along with religion and spirituality and emotions. I mean, I just hate this idea that emotions are irrational, that emotions contradict rational thought. I mean, when has that ever proven to be true? Do you guys experience irrational emotions all the fucking time? My emotions seem to follow my logical processes, you know? If you punch me in the fucking face, and I know you punched me in the face, that this is empirically verified by my observation of you punching me in the face, I become emotional, I become angry at you because you just punched me in the fucking face. I think that the problem, or the reason that we fall into the trap of thinking that our emotions are irrational, is because, you know, it becomes so nuanced, especially when we're having we're having emotional conflicts within ourselves about, like, he said something mean to me, but I'm not really sure if he meant it that way, and what if I'm just overreacting because I know that I have a guilt complex and this and that, and trying to make that kind of a thing make sense. It's really hard to parse through. You can't really totally justify necessarily that this feeling, this emotional response you had to a thing is valid or invalid, you know. But how do we try to parse through these kinds of experiences? By doing exactly what I just said, you know, trying to rationalize yourself out of a feeling, essentially. Isn't this what therapy is, you know? Trying to reframe and make the irrational seem rational, because really it is rational. And that's why, too, when you have a more rational understanding of your own emotions, then a lot of the times you work through them that way and the emotion can dissipate, you know. Maybe I'm feeling so heartbroken over this person who I can't verify is cheating on me, but as soon as I receive verification that they are cheating on me, then it's like, okay, fuck you. Now my emotion has become completely transformed in response to this empirical evidence. Dominic, emotions are guided by rational processes. I think emotions follow logic, if anything. Emotions are very rational. The problem, the difficulty rather, is that, you know, they're experienced in a way where oftentimes we realize that it's hard to rationalize them, and also hard to come to the truth about certain emotions. Because I think that we also are in the practice of practicing extreme self-denial often, you know. We don't want to admit to ourselves that the distress and pain we are feeling in some emotional conflict could be a thing like jealousy, for example, you know. I don't want to admit that I am a jealous person because that hurts. I would rather say that I'm this or that and that person was wrong to me, and I don't fucking know. Who fucking knows? Dominic. Religion too, though. I mean, I talked about this in my Against Spirituality upload, if you want to watch it, any of you, on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Phenomenology Club, that even the religious thinkers, people who believe in God, even this fucking starseed person, Lauren, our starseed friend, even she is doing the same thing we do when we put faith in the natural sciences, you know. She is taking observational evidence, what she observes around her, and using that to justify the statements she makes about what she observes around her. Of course, we use different criteria for which observations and the translations of which observations we want to integrate into our own personal theories and worldviews about how the world works and the natural sciences and all this, you know. And so, of course, I would say me and Lauren use different criteria when we go about using our observations of the world to try to draw conclusions about the world. So this is really the thing that is fundamentally different, the kinds of conclusions that we draw. But we are enacting the same exact process. There's no different quality of religious thinking or, you know, emotional thinking than any other kind of thinking. All thinking follows the same process. All thinking is you know, articulating back to yourself, describing the things that you observe. My coffee's almost ready. Hold on.
To me, it unlocked an entire dimension of reality that I was denying beforehand. You know, a spiritual dimension of consciousness. Once you take these compounds, you can experience things beyond yourself that science is going to have a tough time with, because science is this box of the material world.
Things in this world that we don't have any information on. So almost kind of narcissistic in effect to say we're the only intelligent beings that live in this entire known universe. So yeah, no, I think believe what you want. But
Oh, that's funny. That's the
I
narcissistic
definitely
belief.
agree with what you were saying.
It's so narcissistic to think that we're the only intelligent beings in the universe. But it's not narcissistic to think that that aliens are obsessed with us and that's why they're here. And this is what validates my belief that they've come here. Okay, mustache. I see you.
There's just too many things in this world to just have one single, this is it, this is the truth idea.
Before my spiritual awakening, I was just like you guys, 100%, and I was actually very atheist. Someone like me who went through a spiritual awakening, and someone who is a starseed and just being like, okay, who am I? I'm not from here. I could speak this other language. Like, I can do these things that like don't make any sense. And having the kind of experiences that I've had, it's something that science.
This is what anime does to your brain.
So I feel like just operating from a base is kind of limiting yourself.
Yeah,
I get you guys because I
think
used to be
the
like you.
Misconception, a lot of people think that science is nothing more than some weird collection of facts and figures. It's not that at all. It's a methodology by which you explore the world, explore the universe. But to give you an idea of how vast the universe is, you could take the smallest grain of dust, paint it blue, go out to the middle of the Pacific Ocean, throw it in there, and a year later tell your friend, go find that grain of dust.
It'd actually be easier to find it if you paint it blue, just saying.
Than to find the Earth in this universe if you didn't know where to look for the Earth. I mean, we are so small and insignificant compared to a grain of dust in the Pacific Ocean.
I think we all kind of agree aliens probably do
Leave
exist. There's a
Starseed
great
alone.
chance.
She's nice.
For me, 99.99%.
She's just misguided, okay?
Chance here. It's just a fine line when we talk about, you know, psychedelics or inner, you know, realities, because I think then we have to credit people with schizophrenia. We have to credit people with all types of disorders to then not downplay what they believe and what they see. And they see their mother walking in front of them, and they see the ants that actually evolve into humans in front of them. And so I think it's hard to do that, because I think if we're going to that realm or that realm, then we can't discredit them either. Not to say we can't, but just it would put us down that realm where we have to credit all of them. And so it's really important that for me is, yes, we can go down that road, but
glitching.
That road
over.
Didn't lead us to cars, hospitals, different things like that.
Cars.
Yeah,
Cars, hospitals. These are like the things that Dominic pulls out of his pocket to be like, we are the greatest species. All right, anyway, Rachel said, you just got here. What is this video? I'm reacting to this Jubilee upload. Have aliens made contact with Earth? Believers versus skeptics. I just did. It's been like an hour long. I'm gonna get out of here. But that was really fun. Thanks for coming with me. Because again, I'm new to Twitch, and I you know, want to do some streams. This is really fun. You know what I want to do? Maybe sometime this weekend. I want to watch Elon Musk's interview with Joe Rogan, which I already watched most of it, and respond to that, because I could go on forever. That video was hilarious, so we should talk about that. I think that would be fun. Getting into Party Zone over here, Phenomenology Party Zone. So yeah, go subscribe on Twitch, go donate, because I'm poor, if you want. And yeah, post other videos or something that you think we should watch together, because this is fun. Do I have a schedule or notify when you're live? No, I don't. But if you subscribe to the YouTube, I stream these at the same time that I stream to Twitch. So you'll get a notification on YouTube. I'm not sure how Twitch works, but I think, too, that it will show up, I think. So, anyway, this was fun. Thanks, guys. Let me get out of here. I gotta go do some stuff. And then later tonight, we are going to exercise like we do every night. So get into the Discord if you guys are not a member. www.phenomenology.club. Sign up for only $1. You get full access to our Discord, where we host our reading series. We have many voice chat debates. We exercise daily, and we do all types of fun fucking shit. Oh, look, here's the website right here. Phenomenology. Oh, look, see? It's Adrian. This is our yoga challenge. Phenomenology.motherfucking club. My computer.